My child, listen to me now. Lean in. I have something to say, and I do not want you to miss a single word. You who have lived through loss and love, through hardship and healing, do you not yet see? Do you not yet understand? The very fact that you are still here, still breathing, still walking this earth, is evidence of my presence in your life. You may not have noticed it at the time. Maybe the pain clouded your vision. Maybe the betrayals blinded you. Maybe the grief made you question if I had abandoned you. But I was there, always, and I am still here. The enemy tried everything to stop you. He came for your health. He attacked your peace. He shook your home. He tried to steal your hope. But child, you are still here. That is no small thing. You see, strength is not proven in the easy days. Anyone can smile when the sun is shining. Anyone can sing when the winds are gentle. But it is in the raging storm, when everything is breaking apart, when your knees tremble and your heart is weary. That is when true strength is forged, and that is when my hand holds you up. Do you remember those nights you cried alone in the dark, unsure if you'd see another day? I was there. I caught every tear, even the ones you wiped away before anyone could see. I heard every silent prayer that never left your lips but echoed in your soul. You thought you were weak in those moments, but child, you were standing. And the only reason you could stand was because I held you. You didn't come this far on your own. You didn't survive by your own power. I walked with you through every fire. I shielded you in every battle. And when you fell, I carried you. Others may have forgotten you. Some may have left you. But I never did. I never will, ever. Think of all the times it should have ended. That illness that almost took your breath. That car that nearly crashed. That moment of despair when you wanted to give up and didn't. That was me. That was my hand. And now, you sit in the stillness of this moment with more years behind you than ahead of you, and still you live. Still, you breathe. Still, you rise. This isn't just survival. This is testimony. The enemy doesn't fear your past. He fears your future. He fears what you'll become if you ever realize the strength I've given you. He tried to wear you down so much that you'd forget who you are. But I never forgot. I called you mine long before the pain ever touched your life. I formed you before the world ever knew your name. And I wrote your story knowing every broken chapter. And still, I chose to love you. You've grown older, yes. Your body may be weaker, your steps slower, but your spirit. Oh, your spirit has become mighty. Your wisdom carries weight in the heavens. Your prayers shake what hell tries to build. Don't you know that every time you got back up, you declared war on the darkness? Every time you praised me through pain, the enemy trembled. Every time you chose to forgive instead of hate, you shattered chains in the unseen realm. That strength didn't come from you. It came from me. I placed it in you. You are not forgotten. You are not invisible. The world may pass by the older ones, but I never do. You have lived, and I have been with you every single step. And now, my beloved, now comes the time for you to understand. You didn't just survive for no reason. You're not here by accident. You are proof, living proof. Proof that I am real, proof that I am faithful, proof that my hand is not too short to save. Your life testifies of my power even when you say nothing at all. Others may look at you and see someone aging, someone slowing down. But I look at you and see a warrior who stood when others fell. I see a champion who fought battles most never knew about. I see a soul tempered in fire and still radiant with hope. That is no ordinary life. That is holy ground. Yes, you've made mistakes. Yes, you've had regrets. But don't you understand? I knew every failure before you ever made it. And I still called you. I still chose you. My hand is not withdrawn because of your flaws. On the contrary, my strength is made perfect in your weakness. I don't just use perfect people. I use those who have been through the wilderness and still have the faith to say, God is good. You are still here. That means I still have purpose for you. Don't believe the lie that says your time is done. As long as you have breath, you have impact. As long as you live, your voice carries power. Let me use you now like never before. Let me take all your pain, all your experience, all your wisdom, and pour it out for others. The young need your story. The weary need your example. The world needs to see what it looks like to walk through fire and not smell like smoke. You have walked through valleys where few have survived. That is not weakness. That is sacred endurance. That is divine favor. And now I am calling you to rise. Rise in faith. Rise in truth. Rise in the knowledge that I have not brought you this far just to leave you here. There is more. So much more. You are not forgotten. You are favored. You are not finished. You are chosen. The hand that kept you alive will now lift you higher. Trust me. You are still here, for a reason that only I can fully reveal in time. And until then, walk with me. My beloved child, do you know what shakes the kingdom of darkness more than any loud sermon or polished preacher? It is not the strong arms of youth or the flashing lights of performance. It is not the noise of crowds or the size of churches. No. What terrifies the enemy most is a soul that has endured the test of time and still believes. A soul like yours. The enemy knows who you are. He has seen your battles. He has witnessed every storm you've walked through and every scar you carry. And still you believe. Still you speak my name. Still you worship me. That, more than anything, causes the gates of hell to tremble. You see, child, when you were younger, the attacks were different. The enemy tried to distract you with the world. He tried to lure you with false promises and empty pursuits. But now that you've seen the emptiness of all that, now that you've lost things money can't buy and experienced joys no riches could replace, now that you've learned to hear my voice in the silence, when the noise of youth has faded, now that your faith has roots, you are dangerous to darkness. You may not feel dangerous. You may feel tired, worn, overlooked. But let me tell you a mystery. The older you grow in me, the more powerful your presence becomes in the spiritual realm. Because faith that endures time, that keeps standing after the shouting stops, is a weapon the enemy cannot counterfeit. You are not someone who believes because it's easy. You are someone who believes because you've seen what happens when you don't. You've walked through years where I was your only comfort. You've had nights when my presence was your only peace. You've watched people come and go, but I stayed. You've buried loved ones but held on to me. That kind of faith is unshakable. That kind of faith terrifies the enemy. And he knows it. He knows that you are not moved by trends. He knows that he can't bribe you with fleeting pleasures anymore. He knows that you've outgrown the shallow temptations he offers. You've tasted loss and still found joy. You've faced death and still clung to hope. That is power. That is the kind of believer the enemy cannot manipulate. That's why the attacks increased as you aged. That's why it felt like the pressure mounted in your later years. The enemy wasn't attacking your past. He was terrified of your present, of what you could become if you ever realized how deeply your faith impacts the spiritual world. If you ever truly understood the fire that burns inside you, not a fire of emotion, but a holy fire of perseverance, refined over decades. A fire that's not loud, but it's lasting. Child, when you speak, heaven listens. Not because you shout, but because you've walked with me long enough to speak my heart. When you pray, it shakes things. Because you're not praying out of routine, you're praying out of revelation. You know me. You've learned to trust me, not just in the good times, but in the grave moments. That trust, that intimacy, that is power. That is authority. The enemy hoped that time would wear you down. He hoped disappointment would make you bitter. He hoped age would make you irrelevant. But what he never expected was that you would still rise every day and say, God is still good. He underestimated the power of a seasoned soul. He underestimated the fire of a heart that has walked with me through decades. He knows that others watch you. They watch how you walk through trials. They listen when you speak of faith. They observe your calm in the storm. And that witness, my child, is dangerous. You become a light that darkness cannot dim. Your testimony becomes a roadmap for those who are lost. Your wisdom becomes a sword against lies. You are not just a survivor. You are a spiritual threat. That's why I've preserved you. That's why, even after all the battles, you are still standing. Because I am using you as a weapon in my hand. Your life, your endurance, your obedience. It breaks chains in places you cannot see. It ministers to souls you don't even realize are watching. You are my vessel, chosen not for perfection, but for perseverance. And that perseverance, forged over time, is pure gold. Never again think you are forgotten. Never again believe the lie that your season has passed. You are in your prime in my eyes. The world may value youth, but I value faithfulness. The world may elevate the new, but I anoint the proven. You have been proven. There is a sound in heaven when you rise to pray. There is movement in the Spirit when you declare my truth. And there is trembling in the darkness when you simply stand firm in me. The enemy knows what happens when my people fully believe. He knows that if you ever walk in the full authority I've placed within you, his plans will collapse like dust. That's why he works so hard to make you doubt. That's why he whispers that you're too old, too late, too tired. But I say this to you now. You are right on time. You are right where I need you. I have prepared you for such a time as this. Every year, every trial, every tear, it has built something unshakable inside you. And now, I am calling it forth. The enemy fears what happens when you understand that you are not just surviving, you are overcoming. That your prayers are not just words, they are weapons. That your faith is not just private, it is powerful. He fears the moment you stop shrinking back and start standing tall, not in your strength, but in mine. So rise, my child, not with fanfare, but with quiet authority. Walk into every room knowing heaven backs you. Speak my name knowing it carries power. Love people fiercely knowing it reflects my heart. And when the enemy comes again, and he will, just smile, because he knows what I know. You are still here, and you believe, and that makes you unstoppable. My beloved, come closer. Let me speak to the deepest part of your soul, the part that still wonders, still wavers, still asks, Lord, is it really you? You've believed in me for many years. You've prayed, worshipped, and hoped. But now I want more from you. Not more works, not more effort, not more performance. I want your full trust, your complete surrender, your heart, every corner of it. Because believing partially is not enough for the season ahead. You've trusted me in pieces over time. You've trusted me with some of your life, but not all of it. And I understand why. Life has taught you to be careful. People have broken promises. You've been disappointed before, by others, by life, even by things you thought I would do that didn't happen the way you expected. But I am not man. I do not lie. I do not forget. I do not abandon. I am not calling you to trust blindly. I am calling you to trust fully. There is a difference. Full trust is not naive. It is not shallow. It comes from knowing me, deeply, intimately, like only someone who has walked with me this long can. You have enough history with me to trust me completely now. You've seen me come through. You've seen my hand guide, my grace carry, my power protect. So why hold back now? My child, fully believing doesn't mean you'll never be afraid. It means you'll choose me even when you are. It means you'll stop leaning on your own understanding and finally lean fully into me, even when the ground feels shaky. It means you stop asking, what if it goes wrong, and start declaring, but God is with me. Do you know what happens when you finally let go of that last bit of fear, that last need to control and fully believe? Everything changes, not just around you, but within you. Peace flows like a river where there was once anxiety. Because now you understand that my plans for you are not just good, they are perfect. You stop questioning every delay, every detour, every no I gave you in the past. You stop resenting what didn't happen, and instead start rejoicing in what I protected you from. Full belief brings rest to your soul. You stop striving. You stop measuring your worth by what you do. You stop comparing your journey to others. You live in the rhythm of my grace. Because when you fully trust me, you realize that I never expected you to carry the weight of life alone. That was never your role. You are not your own savior. I am. And when you fully trust me, your faith begins to produce fruit that nothing can steal. You become unoffendable, unshaken, unbreakable, not because life is easy, but because your heart is anchored. You become like a tree planted by the water, your roots deep in my promises, your leaves untouched by drought. Some people spend their whole lives attending church, reading scripture, saying the right words, but never really trusting me. They stay in shallow waters. They sing songs about me but won't step onto the sea when I call. But not you. I have brought you too far for that. You've seen too much of me to stay in the shallow. Now is the time to come deeper. You may ask, Lord, how do I fully trust you at this age, after all that's happened? And I say this to you. Full trust is not about forgetting your past, it's about surrendering it. Lay it down. Every regret, every loss, every unanswered question. I see it all. I understand it more than you ever will, and I promise you this, not a single moment of your life has been wasted. I am using it all. When you trust me fully, I take your pain and turn it into power. I take your weakness and clothe it in my strength. I take your limitations and stretch them into legacy. What you think is over, I can still use. What you thought was dead, I can still resurrect. I am not finished with you. But to walk in what's next, you must believe me. Completely. No more hesitation. No more keeping one foot in the safe zone while testing the waters of faith. I'm asking you now to step fully into me, to walk boldly into the unknown, holding my hand, to trust that I have gone before you, that I will never let you fall. Do not listen to the voices that say your best days are behind you. They lie. Do not agree with the fear that tells you it's too late. It is not. I do not age like man. My purposes do not expire. You are still breathing because I am still working. And the level of glory I want to show you in these later years requires one thing: full trust. There is a richness of relationship that only comes when you stop trying to understand everything and start simply resting in me. This is not the passive faith of indifference. This is the active faith of surrender. It says, even if I don't see, I trust. Even if I don't feel, I trust. Even if it hurts, I trust. You've trusted me with eternity. Now trust me with your today. Let me guide your decisions. Let me heal the wounds you still carry in silence. Let me speak into the doubts you keep hidden even from yourself. You do not have to figure it all out. You just have to follow. My spirit will lead. My word will light your path. My love will never fail. When you fully believe me, you begin to walk in supernatural calm. The world can rage around you, but you stay at peace. You stop begging for blessings and begin declaring promises. You stop reacting to circumstances and start responding with my wisdom. And others will see it. They will notice the difference. Your life will shine with a light they can't explain. So I say this to you now. Trust me completely. Not tomorrow. Not later. Now. Lay down the questions. Hand me the burdens. And take my hand like you once did when you first believed. Only now, with decades of knowing me, let this be the moment you trust me like never before. Because when you fully believe, everything changes. My faithful child, look around you. You are living in a world spinning faster than it ever has, where truth is twisted, love grows cold, and many hearts are failing. But you, yes you, are still standing. In the final hour, your presence is not by accident. Your age is not a mistake. Your voice has not lost its power. I have saved your strength for now, for this very moment, because the world needs what I have placed inside of you. You may not be able to run like you once did. You may not be able to carry what you once carried, but now you carry something even more powerful: wisdom, experience, endurance, a living testimony of what it means to follow me through the fire and still come out with faith intact. The final hour is not something to fear. It is something to rise into. You are not finished, not fading, not irrelevant. No, you are a torchbearer, a witness, a voice from the wilderness crying out, God is still faithful. And I am calling you to stand strong, not for yourself, but for the ones coming after you, your grandchildren, your community, the younger believers who feel lost. They need to see what it looks like when a soul stands firm in me after a lifetime of storms. You are the legacy I am building. You've stood through the decades, through the changing culture, through personal sorrow, through spiritual battles no one else even knew you were fighting. And each time you could have given up, you chose me instead. That matters. That echoes in eternity. That shines brighter now than ever before. But now I call you to not just stand. I call you to pour out. Pour into others what I have poured into you. Speak when I prompt you. Testify of my goodness. You may think your words are small, but they carry weight because they come from a life that has walked with me. Do not hold back your story. It is the key that may unlock someone else's prison. It is the light that may guide someone else's path. Let your prayers rise stronger than ever in this hour. The young need your covering. They face confusion and chaos unlike any generation before them. But your words, your intercession, your quiet faithfulness, it creates a shield in the spirit that the enemy cannot penetrate. Every time you whisper a prayer over your family, I move. Every time you speak my name over your home, my angels are sent out. You are not powerless. You are more powerful than you know. This legacy you are building is not built on wealth or fame. It is built on trust, on obedience, on perseverance. I do not measure legacy the way the world does. I look at faith that lasts. I look at love that never gives up. I look at those who stood when others walked away. That is the legacy I call sacred. That is what I see in you. Do not believe the lie that your influence is small. Heaven doesn't measure in crowds. It measures in faithfulness. And you, my child, are rich in it. As the final hour draws near, I need you to be steady. Not afraid, not distracted. Steady, grounded in me. A lighthouse for those who feel tossed by the waves of this age. You know me. You've seen too much to turn back now. Your faith is not theory. It is proven. So let it shine. Let your hands bless those around you. Let your home be a place of peace. Let your mouth speak life into dry bones. Let your eyes see the hurting and offer hope. Let your arms embrace the broken. Let your walk show what it means to endure in faith. I am not calling you to fight battles you fought in your youth. I am calling you now to anchor the faith of those around you. Be a stabilizing force, a voice of reason, a testimony of grace. Let them see what it looks like to walk into the sunset of this life, not with regret, but with glory. Because the final hour is not your end. It is your highest calling. The enemy will try to whisper, "You've done enough. Rest. Stop." But I say, rest in me, yes, but never stop. Never stop loving. Never stop praying. Never stop believing. You do not retire from purpose. You do not age out of anointing. Your greatest impact may be yet to come. I have saved your voice for now, your presence, your wisdom, your steadiness. Let the younger generations lean on it. Let them be inspired by it. Let them rise because you stood. And one day, soon, you will see me face to face. And when you do, I will not greet you with questions or condemnation. I will welcome you with joy, and I will say what your heart has longed to hear. Well done, my good and faithful servant. Until that day, keep standing. When the world shakes, stand. When your body grows weary, stand. When hope feels far, stand. Because when you stand strong in this final hour, you build a legacy that hell cannot touch and heaven celebrates. You are not just a survivor. You are my witness, my warrior, my beloved, and your legacy will echo through generations. Stand strong, child. Your crown awaits.